Okay, well, as you are making those Valentine's Day plans for next week, why not treat your Valentine to a money date? Local financial professional Val Majewski from American Benefits Exchange joining us to talk about what that is. I know it doesn't sound very romantic for Valentine's Day, but of course, Val, as we know, finances are so important in relationships.
Very important. Could be a big sticking point.
Yeah.
But having a conversation with your significant other about finances, extremely important, especially this time of year when things can be a little tight after the holidays, so it's good to have it all out in the open.
Valentine's Day, of course, a good reminder of treating your loved one well, taking care of the relationship, and this is one way that you do that.
Not the traditional way, but one way, again, we can tighten things up and make sure that we're in the right direction heading forward.
So how would you go about having a money date?
Well, again, just having that conversation, sitting down, and it may not seem romantic, as you said, but spending that evening discussing your financial situation. You mentioned it earlier, could be a very key point to staying together.
Right. So what are some of the key topics? I mean, what do you want to make sure that you are discussing during this chat?
Well, there are 5 that I normally talk about. The first one is being honest. Now, that goes without saying, but
hopefully you're already honest with one another, but really at this point, let's be honest.
About 12 million Americans admit to keeping financial secrets from their significant other. You know, it's a big thing, especially like secret credit cards, accounts. I cannot stress enough the importance of being open and honest and transparent, just to avoid any strain on the relationship.
Okay, what else?
Setting up a budget or setting up a limit, spending limit. So I know spending habits can be a big source of fights in a lot of relationships. So set a limit on how much one can spend without having to first discuss it with the other person. Can help them work together on some larger purchases.
Val, my husband may call you to be our relationship counselor. Because
I don't know if I'm certified for that part of it, but on the finance side I can help.
Very important to get to. Okay, so being honest, establishing limits, also review your goals, your financial goals.
Now this will depend upon your age, obviously, and your stage in life, but going over your short-term goals as well as your long-term things like retirement and making sure you're on the same page. Yeah,
or first, you know, we talked about kids or, you know, what you want to do with the house or travel. I mean, what are your goals and how can we make that happen?
Sure. You talked about kids and saving for college. How are you going to decide to pay for that? And retirement, you know, looking that far forward, what do you want to do in retirement? Do you want to just sit around? Do you want to travel the world? Obviously, that's going to take money and budgeting to get that done. Yeah,
look at the big picture. All right, assign homework. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you decide to divvy up the financial chores, so to speak, look at each other's interests and strengths. For example, in my family, my wife handles more of the day-to-day spending and the budgeting, and I handle more paying the bills and our long-term savings.
Okay.
So no matter how you divvy it up, make sure each person gets a little piece of the pie there so that you're working together and both contributing.
Okay, great. And then you say, once you have finished that date, then...
Well, set another one. So don't wait till next Valentine's Day or a full year to go by before you do this again. I recommend a quarterly basis. And even consider sit down with your local financial professional, somebody that can help you stay accountable and make sure you're on track to hit those goals. Yeah,
well, it is so important, and of course a topic that I think a lot of people may avoid, but you really do want to address it. Sit down with your partner, have this conversation. It could be so beneficial to your relationship.
Right, it's not going to go away. Any issues or debt problems or things like that, they're not going to take care of themselves.
It's not going away. You got to tackle it. You got to face it. This is a good time to do it, a good reminder. All right, Val, thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate you having me.
All right.